Hi guys, so welcome to PBTV. We are finally here with the LevAR 15, so there are going to be two versions of this, the 15-inch and the short version. And rather than just do a standard little review, we thought, because of the popularity of this thing, we thought we'd be joined by Pete to be able to do a bit more of a deep dive, ask all the burning questions, and try and answer everything that we can. Because we've had this for about well, less than 24 hours, maybe 12 hours, and we've dug deep into it. We kind of understand how it's working, where it's going to sit, and things like that. But we'll have a look at a few of its features and see what it is all about. I mean, Pete, you've had your hands on it. I've had my hands on it. What's your first impression? Like getting this out the box, there is obviously a lot of hype around it.
There is.
Has it lived up to it for yourself?
I think so, yeah. I mean, G&G is always very, very well made. It always feels very solid when you get it out of the box. You know, there's a satisfaction to handling it.
There's no sort of rail wobble.
Yeah, exactly.
No
creaks.
On the back. There's no creaks or anything. There is a few minor things that we'd like to change already, but that's because we're being a little bit picky.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got that the racking it, the noise, everything that this thing does. It is really, really nice. Obviously, it's got the 14mm counterclockwise thread at the front, and we've put one of the new dead air suppressors on it. And again, it is actually very, very functional on this as well. So with the baffles and things in that, this thing normally has a little bit of a crack out then because it's a non-blowback system. The baffles in there make it very, very quiet.
It's more noisy to actually rack the bolt than it is to fire the gun.
That is actually louder than the gun firing. There's obviously no gas in it, but the actual racking system is louder than now what the crack out at the end is. But where do you see these? I mean, we've chronoed it and things like that. But do you see these as maybe becoming, with how quiet they are, being a sniper, or even a DMR or something like that?
Before it turned up, I always envisioned it as an ideal DMR platform. Because I didn't know that it was going to reach that kind of. I didn't know if it would reach that kind of 500 FPS. That people like to reach for as a sniper. And I'm sticking with the DMR role, to be fair. Obviously, with changing up your gas, whichever one you use, you can alter the power. I think from our testing, we've already found that it's
almost on the door. So I think we used V12 on 0.2s. It was doing basically 349 FPS. So perfectly in that normal AEG style power. But again, this has a 425mm barrel in it, and it is a 6.08. So G&G don't really do tight bores. So if you were to drop your gas a little bit, because if you go up to 2.8s, I think it was doing like 1.2 joules. So it's not quite at the DMR, but still. But
it's over the
AEG.
Kind of,
so you might need to do something a little bit. So if you're wanting to run the 2.8s, you'd have to drop it from V12 down to like your Ultra Air or something like that. But again, if you're wanting to go up to that DMR or sniper, a tight bore, various different things, keep that gas.
Yes, because it's a standard AEG barrel.
So the barrel, the hop rubber, and everything like that. The actual receiver itself, all AEG compatible. As you can see, Pete has got a spare G&G upper receiver,
polymer one as well,
and he's removed a few bits. So tell us what you've removed.
You have to remove the charging handle, and there's a little piece on the back of the LevAR as it is. It's sort of a filler that goes in there, basically. So when you then put that onto the receiver of the LevAR, it kind of holds it in place, and it just fills that gap so it's not ugly looking. But it goes straight on. You don't need a
charging handle on this.
No, exactly. Your charging handle's down here, not up here.
And the mock bolt as well. So you've got the door.
The mock bolt comes out. The door's still there. I don't know if I can pop that open, but you can see there's no mock bolt in there anymore. So all the internal gubbins come out of there, obviously apart from the hop unit and the inner barrel, etc. But then it just slides straight on. Pin goes through fine, and it seemed to work absolutely fine, didn't it?
Yeah. So it works fine. So if you've got if you've already got maybe an ARP or something like that, and you want to get this, obviously you do have to take bits out, and if you want to use the ARP again, it's not a hot swap to swap between bits, but what you've got to think as well is if you're going to throw like a Firehawk or an ARP9 upper on this has a 425mm barrel all the way to here, so if you want to put a rail like this, you will need a hot barrel
combo
setup, however you want. And again, you can run any AEG hot rubber barrel setup and everything like that.
But that's the nice thing. You can have an entire upper setup for whatever type of gameplay you're doing. So you've got one for DMR, you can have one for CQB if you wanted to run that.
And again, it's barrels and gas that are changing the FPS on this. So again, if you've got, again, either the combat machine or an ARP or something like that and a short barrel, it can be quite easily made under that FPS to run at CQB. Or you run the big long 425mm thrower type bore in this and you throw it all the way up to 400 or 500 FPS. This is technically bolt action. There's no semi-auto about it.
Nope.
We've had people asking about HPAing it already, and I can see the gap where the fake rounds are. I can see people tapping it because the valve is just there on the bottom of the grip. Standard Schrader valve, we believe, that's in there, but we'll do a little bit more research on which valve. And I can see people mounting their bottles on the stock, not running lines or anything, and just having it here because it will be really, really comfortable. You do get loads of rounds out of this with gas, but people are obsessed with the HPA and the modularity of the FPS limits.
It depends on the magazine you're running as well. Obviously, we've got the
so we've put the EPM1S in it.
Was that 170 rounds on that?
170, and the original one is 35.
This is the one that comes with the gun, 35, is it?
35 rounds.
So,
but again, if you're being a sniper and you want to be super low profile, 35 rounds is fine. It's the same as a VSR.
And it is nice and low profile as well. So.
It has the G&G extended follower.
Yes, it does.
You're going to get every BB out of it. Yes, it's 35 rounds, but some people think you're going to lose a couple. But yeah, so we quite liked the EPM1S look. I wasn't overly keen on full-size mags in this.
No.
But yeah, so we have tricked it up a little bit like we've looked at. So it is very, very well made. All the materials, like the grip is plastic and the lower is plastic. Or G&G sort of polymer. We've had dot sights on this, we've had short dots on it. We were concerned that eye relief might have been a bit of an issue.
Yes, but I'm happy to say that if you can mount the optic as far back as possible, I removed the rear iron sight and did that. And
so the last little bit of riz is just here.
And you can actually get a comfortable sight picture.
If you do struggle at this range and you want a bit more, the cantilever, if you flipped that round, it'd throw them back. And you could quite easily get a scope back here. Might look a bit weird, but functionality is not almost better than looks.
Wouldn't work with a magnifier red dot combo though, because magnifiers you do have to be quite close up to get a decent eye picture.
Also, rail-wise, we've got M-lock on the sides. There's a couple of bit of riz right at the front on all four sides, just if you want like a laser. We put a pec box on it yesterday just to see what it looks like.
Got the QD mount point on there as well.
QD's at the front. At the back here, I don't think there is a sling point on the stock, but again, there's loads of bits where straps and single points can be attached. But it is very, very slingable. The one thing that you will need with this is probably a sling, because in its current setup, with all the bits that we've put on it, it is 4 and a bit, so 4.2 kilos. That is with the optic, the suppressor, and the mag and everything. So we are adding a chunk of weight. So it's not the lightest thing.
We did notice putting this on saved a lot of weight.
A lot of weight. So if you're going all the way, I mean, we've got bits on the floor down here. So we've got Firehawks and stuff that we've had a look at. So if you had a Firehawk with a polymer rail, super tiny, you can remove the stock as well. We have looked at other stock compatibility, and we realised there probably isn't much. So as you can see, there is an angle coming up here. It is 20mm or 1913 riz, but we did get a 1913 stock, and if this was to fit on it, it would go like this kind of angle. So it doesn't go flat anymore. So unless someone makes a 45-degree adapter for it, you sort of 1913 stocks, and it's not going to work very well.
No, it's not going to be great for your standard user. So, it might possibly work for anybody who needs that extra gap if they're wearing a face mask, a dye, or a Empire mask or something like that.
Because this is almost M4 sort of line that's coming through here.
Exactly.
So if you had a normal stock coming out here, it's a little bit lower, but not much. This is fully adjustable. It's not loose and slide. You do have to take the 2 screws out on this side and adjust it into 3 spots. So the cheek riser doesn't slide, it's fixed in place. The rounds, again, the little screws that are going through there, those are the screws for your adapter. So if you do take the rounds off, you still need to put the screws back in if you want in your cheek riser on. So the rounds are semi-functional, but again, I think they do make the look. They add to the look, definitely.
Just on a note on, because we were talking about fitting different uppers to the gun, we did try other brands of uppers. Obviously not all of them, because that would take far too long, but we've tried Spectre, I think we tried Cyma, Lancer, and Krytac.
Yeah.
And unfortunately,
none of them fit.
So
some of them got halfway on, but
yeah, just G&G for different uppers. But that you've still got plenty of scope and plenty of options in the range with G&G products that are out there. Certainly,
there's loads of different bits. Yeah. So you can make this look exactly how you want. Obviously, there's going to be 2 models out of the box, which is the 15-inch, and I think is it 7 or 9. Is the other variant. So it's just the inner barrel, the outer barrel, and the rail is all shorter. And again, this was from like when we were back at IWA last year. They were showing pictures with the stock off and a Firehawk front end with a full mag on it. Yeah. And again, if you want to run this exactly how you want, that is how you want to run it. We've set this up in a preconceived thought of it was going to be sort of sniper DMR with the dead air working and things like that. So yeah, a couple of the things that we've found, not faults, but functionality-wise, we can see not being an issue, but people need to be made aware of. The safety is on the left-hand side. So it's currently on fire, and that is on safe.
Yes.
In either of these positions, you can rack the platform, and you can multi-load it. So if it's in fire, you rack it 3 or 4 times, it will put multiple BBs in the barrel, and they'll fire. If you're in safe, it does the same, it just doesn't fire. So you can still rack BBs in. All it's doing is preventing the actual hammer hitting the striker.
Yeah.
So we can see maybe people are playing, all of a sudden, for some reason, the rifle's not firing, it's not doing anything, and then they realise the safety's on, they've racked it 3 or 4 times, they put it up, they'll rack it, 5 BBs might fly out and almost be like a rifle shotgun. If you put too many in, and they'll start rolling down the barrel, you may end up filling your suppressor with BBs, a round goes out, they hit each other,
and blocks
potentially cause damage to a suppressor or something like that. So just be aware that you can multi-rack this thing, but it's probably not wise to do because you might end up having BBs roll out. A couple of other quite useful features is when you come back to this point, it's still not loaded a BB. So it's cocked the hammer, comes back, it will fire, but you can't half rack this and think there's rounds because all that's doing is racking the hammer. To actually load a BB, you have to come all the way to the point where the loading nozzle moves back inside. So you can't short stroke this thing at the moment, so you do have to do full movement, and then when it comes back and firing it, it does fire.
Yeah.
A couple of manual handling things that we've noticed is whilst you're moving around, if your hand touches the hammer, it will vent gas.
Yeah.
So if you've got this thing racked and you're moving around, all of a sudden you touch that, or you've got the hammer down, or you've made it safe because you can just drop the hammer forward. If you touch that, it'll vent loads of gas out, and there's nothing stopping it.
Yeah.
The main hiccup that we've had few people in the office do, I've done it, I think Mike's done it, is when you're racking it and coming back, with a standard grip on this, your finger goes across. There are almost 3 mag releases here. There's one there, the standard M4 one, there's the lever one on the back, and there's one on the left-hand side here. So when you come back to rack it, your finger might touch the mag release just there,
and it drops out very easily.
And because it's, I mean, it might be a bit easier with the polymer mag, it might stay in a bit more, but we've noticed with M4 mags, as you cock the thing back and you go for the trigger, fingers might just catch that and your M4 mag drops out. Yeah. So it's just something to be aware of, just a little bit of manual handling that people...
If I may...
Yeah.
Because when I noticed that same thing, I did also notice that the levers are separate from each other. They do activate each other, so to speak, but what you could potentially do is if you block this one off, it's not going to stop the other 2 from functioning.
Yeah.
So that could potentially correct that issue.
And again, if you're doing as a sniper and all like that, and you're not too keen on fast reloads, you can easily use your other hand, rag a mag out like that, and throw another one in.
Exactly.
So it's dead easy to do.
Yeah.
If you want to rack it back as well, show that. So the standard hop is in there as well. So anyone that's used to a rotary style hop, it's dead easy. You can adjust it on the fly. There's no proprietary systems in here. It's all AEG based.
So in theory, a third-party hop could fit as well if you wanted to.
Yeah, theoretically, if it's if you're going for that precision and you want a tight bore, a super nice air seal, and you're wanting to run this as a sniper and chase that 500 or 2.3 joules, I do think it is going to be very easy to do, but probably not out the box just with gas. No. It does creep a little bit, like we've said. So going from 1.14 on 2s, it was creeping up to sort of 1.3 almost on 2.8s. And again, it's a non-blowback system, so all that speed is going, all the gas is going down the barrel. It's just speeding the BB up, so you're getting loads out of it. But yeah, I do think the hype has been genuine and deserved with this thing, because it is innovative, it's new, it's really, really nice.
I think
it's made really well.
Following after their ESG B10, you know, the shotgun
doing some
that
very new
produce, they're
things.
actually doing something different in airsoft, which is welcome, I think. Yeah, certainly. But yeah, I do like it, and it's comfortable. I mean, it takes a little bit of getting used to, you know, the fact that you're not holding an M4
you're holding a rifle,
or so I think it just you know, a bit of muscle memory training, and you'll have it down. It is comfortable. Hand further back for me, I prefer. You preferred it further forwards, didn't you? But
my big gorilla arms need to reach out a little bit further forward.
But no, I think it is definitely a very interesting platform. It'd be interesting to see what people do with them.
Yes, that was going to be my next comment. It's let us know. Comment below if you've watched us this far. Let us know down below how you would accessorize your LevAR, whether or not it be the 15 or the 7, long or short. Would you suppressor it? Do you want to go as short as possible? Do you plan on running M4 mags, lights, lasers, optics? What kind of things do you think you'd throw on this if you had one for yourself? And again, it's going to be really easy to sort of make these very unique. The fact that you just take the stock off and run it really short. If you run it as a sniper and you've got a 170 round mag, you don't need spares. I think it's going to be really fun. I think they're going to be... I don't think they're going to lock into one type of loadout. I think they are going to be everywhere. Yeah. You can do everything else. So we've had the UH1 on it, we've had PEC boxes on it, we've had lasers on it, just trying different looks, and everyone in the office going, oh, I like that one, I don't like that one. And they are going to be very personal. And again, the rail itself, you could just change the rail. So it is a standard AEG style fitment. Yeah. So if you've got your own type of rail, you wanted to run something, whether it's real steel, an L119 rail, anything like that will fit on the barrel nut thread that's in there. So if you don't want to change your whole upper receiver, you can just change the rail. Excellent. And do it that way and make it exactly how you want. But yeah, very excited to get some rounds down with this thing. We plan to take this to our outdoor range. We've chronoed it, we've tested it, but we want to see what this thing can lift and see how far it's touching just with the standard gas system. We may see if one of the guys has a precision barrel set up, because again, it's AEG, very easy to just throw in and see how quickly it can be changed. But yeah, very excited to see these things. We will keep everyone informed. Obviously, this is currently a sample one that we've got for media testing. Yes. It will be in the shop this weekend, so it's the 8th of June this weekend, if you're watching this video in 2 years' time. It will be in the shop on Saturday for people to come along, get their hands on, and have a look at and just drool over it, because this thing coming out of the box has been
refreshing.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing. It's not, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love M4s, I've got plenty of them, I like them, they function and they're great.
And that's it, you've got plenty of them.
Yeah, it's another M4 is another M4, they can be great, they can be standard, but this is something different. It is off an M4, but it's what people have been looking for, this kind of a platform, for a long, long, long time. Yes. So, final thoughts on it. Do you think, how would you set yours up? Are you in the sort of sniper DMR scope setup, or do you reckon you run it a bit shorter and maybe under 350?
I probably aim for the DMR. Yeah. I'm still down that vibe. I don't know if I'd try and find something a little bit lighter setup. I wouldn't necessarily need all of that rail space, so maybe something. I might keep the barrel length, but maybe a shorter rail on there, possibly, just to save a little bit of weight for my noodle arms. But yeah, otherwise, you know, the rest of it, I like it. The 170 round magazines, I think, are a very, very good match for it. Certainly,
I definitely prefer them to the full size mags.
Yeah,
it's enough 170s. It's enough BBs, but not an oversized thing. Because especially when you start going prone and stuff, you don't want to be digging into ground. And depends how you play. So
especially with the EPM1S, obviously you've got that little mag pod, so to speak, on there, haven't you, for when you're prone. So no, I think that as is pretty close to where I would have it. Just perhaps a shorter, lighter rail on the front.
Because I mean, without the suppressor, it is just over 1 metre long. Is that one? So it's 102. We measured it 102 centimetres without the suppressor on, so we've made it even longer.
It's a big one.
So yeah, it is a large platform. Even when it comes to M4s, most M4s are sort of 70, 80, maybe 90 centimeters long. So this is a very, very, very long platform.
Be interesting to see how many people run it short and stockless.
Yeah, if people are wanting to run around in CQB, and it's that whole thing of, I'm never really a fan of stockless platforms like the MP5K where you're trying to push it out on a sling or something like that. I prefer the stability of a stock in my shoulder. So, and again, it's all preference. So you could quite easily run it like that, start firing from the hip like a space cowboy, and enjoy how you want to play. But yeah, we're going to get some rounds down it. We're going to go film it on the range and see how this thing does actually perform, because looks is 90% of it, but it's still got to work.
Indeed.
So we'll join us on the range very, very shortly, and we'll start throwing some heavyweights down our 60-meter outdoor range. But thanks for watching so far. We'll be back in a bit, but as always, we'll catch you in a bit.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi guys, so me and Pete have come out with the LevAR 15 onto our outdoor range. So we've got a few targets down here. If you've watched us before, we've got about a 30, a 60, and then a 70-meter target out there. So we've still got this stock internals with the 425 millimeter barrel. So we're going to see what it is, and then we have the slightly shorter, but 6.03 mil barrel. So we're going to see what just a standard upgraded tight bore barrel will do to it.
Stainless steel as well, isn't it? This one,
so a bit more weight. So we do have the run cam on, so we can see what this is doing. So we have got some 2.8s in here and some V12. So you can see a little bit of sort of deviation because of the 6.08, but again, this is down at the sort of 350 power limit. So let's see what the tight bore can do. So we've swapped out the inner barrel. Obviously, we've got the 425 that was originally in it. So we've thrown the slightly shorter steel barrel in it, but it is a 6.03. So let's see what this can do on the range. I'm seeing an instant sort of tighter grouping with that.
Yeah, well, even just looking down the side of the gun as you're firing it, you can see it's a lot more consistent.
We do have to give credit where credit's due on the long barrel. It is very windy today, but looking at the footage on this, I think the primary upgrade that people will be looking on this is a tight bore barrel. So if the LevAR 15 has interested you, they will be available hopefully very soon. This is obviously our sample. We hopefully have these by September is the estimate. But if you hit that email back in stock on the website, that is how you can sort of secure one and how we are doing our, not pre-orders, but notification system. But thanks, Pete, for joining me, having a little chat, having a chat about the G&G LevAR 15.
Thanks for letting me play.
Yeah, you can, well, when this goes, we'll just do a little bit more.
Yes, for science.
For science.
Yes.
But as always, thanks very much for watching. Comment down below if you're going to grab one of these, and we'll catch you in a bit. Bye.